business. Let's bring in our next guest, and that's going to be Chris Pierson, CEO of BlackCloak. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Good to be here.
All right, so before we get into a discussion about Palo Alto and the cybersecurity industry, just give our viewers a little background here on what BlackCloak is and what they do.
So BlackCloak is digital executive protection. We protect corporate executives, board members, the C-suite in their personal lives, right? That personal attack surface is where cyber criminals and nation states are going. As corporate controls get higher and higher and more sophisticated, they're looking for that weak spot in. So that's where BlackCloak plays.
All right. So you've got some experience with this as far as cybersecurity, maybe some, impending threats there on a personal and a business level at this point. But Chris, when you look at, the cybersecurity industry as a whole, competition's out there, right? The total addressable market continues to expand on a daily basis, but the competition's starting to heat up here a little bit. So what's your takeaway from this sector as a whole?
I mean, overall, cybersecurity is one of those things that continues to go up and to the right. Once you have the SEC guidance from 2023 really putting that on top, on the front page for the board of directors, for enterprise risk committees, it is one of those things that will never be underfunded. It's always going to be an arms race in terms of us versus the cyber criminals and other nation states that are out there. And so it's one of the things that is just baked into the cost of doing business. It's increasing. The total addressable market here is absolutely huge. And what we're actually seeing a lot more of this day is, number one, platformization in terms of companies that are really trying to branch out and get a bigger handlehold on their different clients and networks and all the rest. And second, what we're seeing is some consolidation overall as a result of that, right? Those large companies keep on gobbling up some of those smaller startups, wanting to add more depth, more bench strength to what it is that they're actually doing. So it's all good news on the cybersecurity front.
Yeah, it wasn't good news for Palo Alto investors today. The stock pulled back. It is off about $11 from its session lows. But, when you look at the results, they weren't bad results. They gave a little bit lighter guidance than maybe what the street anticipated at this point. But you mentioned that platformization of their suite of products, and they've got to invest in that to kind of grab a hold of those clients and maybe gobble up the smaller people, right, at this point?
Absolutely. I mean, look, I don't view this as negative right now in terms of Palo Alto's earnings report. It was kind of a muted reaction from the market. But I mean, right now it's only down 1.4% today. I mean, look, it's at $199. I think platformization is gaining traction. I think the Palo Alto reports really show great retention and stickiness in their client base. These folks are actually going for that long play. How do we go ahead and have convergence of several different offerings under us? How do we more deepen our relationships into other companies, other sectors? And how do we go for that really, really long game out there? Their guidance for 2025 is up $9.14 billion to $9.19 billion. I think this is going to really turn around quite quickly for them.
Yeah, when you look at the competition in the space that I mentioned before, the growth rate of CrowdStrike, a lot better than Palo Alto at this point. Maybe some of the others like Fortinet and some of the other competitors in this space. How does Palo Alto measure up to them as far as the outlook moving forward as this space becomes even more competitive?
Well, I think there are a few things there. Number one, in terms of the earnings reports, you saw Palo Alto had several different, many different clients that have substantial amounts of money invested in. Second is that, look, in terms of where Palo Alto is playing, it's multiple places within the environment. What CISOs, Chief Information Security Officers, are looking for is a way to actually shrink the number of vendors that they're looking to work with, and deepen the bench strength that is there in terms of what the offerings are. I think Palo Alto is really primed nicely in that area. There are some other competitors that they have that are more point solutions. They're focusing on one area, one segment, one sector of doing things in one control area. I think Palo Alto has a much broader strength there. And as a result, I think that they're going to be able to be here for a lot longer and go a lot deeper into companies. And furthermore, from those recent acquisitions, they now have other wedges in the door, other feet in terms of openings at different companies that they haven't had as strong a relationship with. And I think you're going to see them exploit that a lot in 2025.
I think when you look at the AI aspect of cybersecurity, I think it's going to play a big part. The growth rate is still there for a lot of these companies. They're going to be solid. I mentioned that total addressable market continues to go up and to the right. But AI and the margins that it's going to be able to produce for these companies, is that the one thing that investors should be focused on moving forward?
I think it's a few things. I think it's how does someone like a Palo Alto tell a better together story? So that means as a result of their acquisitions and actually bringing them together, why would you choose Palo Alto over another competitor? And it's going to be a better together story, number one. Number two, artificial intelligence and machine learning are going to cause there to be a massive jump ahead for Palo Alto and other companies that are investing heavily in it. You mentioned some of them. CrowdStrike, very, very focused on that from the endpoint detection and response market. The ability to actually stay one step ahead of the adversaries, to decrease the human element and the processing time and increase the speed to response is going to be a key differentiator for many in this area. And I think Palo is really, really well poised there.
When you look at, the acquisition of these major clients, I think that's one of the biggest things they look at, that annual recurring revenue as far as subscription levels at this point. Does that platform that they have allow them to be a little bit more flexible in gathering more of those high net worth businesses?
It does. I think a few things. Number one, the number of customers that are spending over $10 million or more was really indicated strong retention and stickiness there. That's number one. Number two, in terms of ripping out or replacing someone like Palo Alto with other competitors, because they have both a hardware play and a software play, and once again, they have that platformization, it becomes really hard to change or to change out technology and change them out as a leading force in your cybersecurity stack. So with that said, I think that's why they have so much going on for them on the retention side and a really good path forward.
Well, real quick here before I let you go, Chris, in this competitive landscape, do you like Palo Alto best out of the cybersecurity names that we mentioned?
There are a lot of folks there that are Palo Alto and Fortinet are definitely going more head-to-head. CrowdStrike and SentinelOne going more head-to-head. Okta, that identity on the identity space, really charging forward there. I really like a lot of those different players, and Zscaler, of course, in terms of helping with that remote workforce and all things in terms of their connectivity. So those are some of the players I like the most, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the ones that are actually consolidating, differentiating, and creating a holistic platform that are going to be the winners.
Yep, that's right up Palo Alto's alley there. Appreciate it, Chris. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, that's Chris Pierson, CEO of BlackCloak, joining us breaking down the cybersecurity space and Palo Alto.